Hey, in this video I show you a second solution how to deal with the messiness of stack column charts. If you haven't seen the first video, you can check it here, or I put also a link in the description. This time, instead of expanding the subcomponents, we are going to use the baseline and we will put a highlighted product with a slicer there. Every time we select a different product, it's going to put on the baseline. This way you can see much better how the trend goes over time for this highlighted product. I'm not going to show the decluttering because I already did it in the other video, so we are just going to continue from here. I want to be able to highlight one product, but it's not that easy with these bright colors. So I want to use a color scale instead. I tried it with a gray color scale, but I didn't like it that much and I think it doesn't work that well with this background. I tried the green color scale instead with a white highlight. The white highlights the product on the baseline, and the next color is the darkest green, which makes the white stand out even more, and then the green gets lighter gradually upwards. The goal is to have the selected product always on the bottom highlighted, so we need to find a way to change the product order upon selection. The product sorting is alphabetical and we can't change it with the slicer, but we can change the sales instead. How it works is that you have to create a disconnected table with 6 unnamed products. We put these 6 products in the visual, so the slicer doesn't change them. The slicer only changes the sales assigned to these products. For that, we need the dynamic sales measure. It's called sales dynamic. And first I put the products into variables just for simplicity. Then we have a variable for the currently selected product. Then we have 6 variables for the 6 sales for the products later. For product 1, the sales is Amarilla if the current product is Amarilla. If the current product is something else, then the sales of this current product is going to be calculated. So this is going to be on the highlighted baseline all the time. Then the second product means the second in the order above the highlights. If the current product is Amarilla, then it's going to be Carretera. If something else is selected, not Amarilla, then it's always going to be Amarilla because above the highlighted product, the sorting order goes alphabetically again. So it's always going to start with Amarilla, then Carretera and so on, depending on the selection. Then for sales product 3, if Amarilla or Carretera is selected, then it's going to be Montana. If something else is selected, then it's always going to be sales Carretera. Based on this principle, we do the same for 4, 5, 6. And at the end, we take the 6 sales and return it to the 6 products. I can create a copy. We will need it for the colors later because they are going to get lost. You can hide it. Replace sales and with sales dynamic. First we don't see anything. And then replace the legend products with products dynamic legend. Now it looks better. We see only 5 products. This is because we don't have a product selected. Then I add the slicer. I put product in it and select a product. And whichever I select, the sorting order stays the same and only the products change. Product 1 is this one, product 2 is the gray one, product 3 is the next one, product 4, 5, 6. Whichever I select now, this is changing. We can check the values if it works properly. Gonna add one table with product and sum of sales. So product, sales, and if I copy this, product, dynamic sales. This is the same for both. For product 1, this is VTT. It's the same. Montana, this is the same. Amarilla, this is the same, so it works. Can delete this. I can keep this, and we want to have a legend here. For the text, we will have the same measure like before, like the sales dynamic, but it will return the product name instead of the sales. It works the same way. So let's just add it to the table. And it works like this. Changes the order of it. We can delete the sales dynamic and just rename this to legend. And we will adjust it going to style, remove the background, go to visual, remove the grids and the borders. Also the borders by turning it on and off again. We also change the text color. We don't need the totals. And it should be sorted by products and descending. Product 1, the selected product should be in the bottom. Let's adjust it. Like this. What we want to do is make it smaller. I go to the data in the visual and change the order so the product is on the right side of the legend. Pull it down below the legend. Then go back to formatting, specific columns, legend is selected, align to the right. Go to cell elements, select legend, font color, field value, and select dynamic legend text color. This is what I would like to have, but I don't think that it works too well. So you can decide if you can see it properly. If not, there is this other font color, dynamic legend text color 2. And I think it kind of works better in this situation. If we change it, it changes the color and the order, and only the selected product is highlighted. And I want to change the color to the background color. I'm gonna sample it with this Microsoft tool called Color Picker, which is a power toy. And you can just add this color to it. If you don't know this program or you don't have it, you can download it for free. It's really cool. You have to download this power toy bundle. Going to font color, gradient, lowest value, copy the code. Hit OK. That's fine. Go to column headers and do the same. Then change the order, put the table in the bottom. And this is how it looks like. We can go back and adjust the padding a little bit. Options, row padding, added a padding of 10. And what we want to do is not being able to select these values, so we just put a shape on it. Insert, shape, make it large enough so it covers everything. Go to style, disable fill, disable border, and change the layer order so the shape is below the chart but above the table. So now you can't click it. Okay, let's put the focus on the totals. I changed the decimal value to 1, and maybe we see the totals, but maybe we want to see also the values directly below the chart of the selected product. In this case, I want to show the percentage of sales to the total. For this, I'm going to copy the bar chart, move it a bit down, change it to a matrix, move the mouse short from the x-axis to the columns, remove the products, remove the values, and we will add this product sales to total to the values, which is basically just the sales percentage compared to the total of sales. We will move it down and go to formatting, remove the style presets. We will keep the grid for now. Go to values, turn it into din, make it smaller, turn the text color white. Scroll down to specific column, Product says the total is selected. Align it to the middle. Decimal value is 1. Scroll up to the grid lines and turn on the vertical grid lines so you can see it now and you can just adjust it properly. It takes a while, but you have to do it once and then it should be fine. And as you can see, the numbers are still too small, so we will change the size of it. We can go to 8. And one important thing to do is to go to column headers, options, and disable auto size width so they stay the same. Then we will sample the background color again and change the column header color to this one. So it's not visible now. We can move it up a little bit. Now we can remove the grid lines, remove vertical grid lines and remove the border as well. And how we want to display it is that the months are below these numbers. So for that, we are going to copy the column chart again, remove the legend and remove the y-axis. And we have a measure called null. We can just put it down, it's equals 0. But all we need it for is to show the months, so it's good enough for us. Pull it down, remove also the title. Then you can go back to the sales dynamic, go to visual formatting and make the x-axis transparent. It's not good if you delete it because it changes the proportions. So we will just make the color transparent instead of it. Go to field values, financials, and select the measure transparent color. And now it's almost done. How we want to change this layer order is that matrix goes below the original column chart and the x-axis column chart comes also below the original column chart. So it looks like we can click on the number, which selects actually the transparent month of the x-axis in the top chart. Or we can also click here, which also selects it. And one thing you might want to do is to change the interaction between these. So I'm gonna select this, go to formatting, edit interactions, and remove the interactions between them. And do the same here as well. Now if you select it, it doesn't remove the rest. Exactly. We can also add the label to display what these numbers are. And this is the percentage of total sales. I'm just gonna write percentage of total, make it 9, make it smaller, disable the background and make everything right aligned. And one thing I forgot to remove here is the totals. We can go back to the matrix and remove all the totals. Maybe you need to adjust it a little bit. And now this is how it looks like. Now we can adjust the slicer. And go to formatting, general, remove the background. And go back to visual. Slicer settings, style is tile. If you have an older Power BI version, this option might be called vertical. We will drag it and make it smaller. And this is going to be our selection. Go to values, change the font color to gray. Remove all the borders. Go to the background, add the color. I'm gonna color pick a color from the background again. Copy it. And I'm just gonna make it a bit lighter. And our visual only works if one element is selected. So we can go to selection here and activate single select. So something must be always selected. I think that works nice. And now we can create a header title to it. Make it to 16 large. Color is gonna be this one. The bottom line is gonna be this color. Then go to effects and remove the background. And then we don't need the title and the legend here anymore. We can take advantage of the interactivity of the bars. So we see some good information, but we could also get into some details, for example, using a tooltip. It would be nice to see how the different elements of one column compare to each other. So I'm going to create a new page. This is going to be our tooltip. Go to page formatting, page information, allow use as a tooltip. In canvas settings, I'm gonna make it a bit larger, 300 by 330. I'm gonna change the canvas background to the less sample colored from the background. No transparency. Then we go back to the main page and copy the top column chart, the original column chart. I'm gonna paste it here, make it a bit smaller, turn it into a normal bar chart. From y-axis, remove the month short and move the products there. Then here go to the dots, more options, sort the axis by products, and descending is fine. 3, 4, 5, 6. One issue though is that we don't see product 1, and this is because the sales dynamic is based on the selected value. So if there is no filter, there is no selected value. We can just go back to the main page and copy the slicer. And paste it, sync is okay. And I'm just gonna hide it. And now you can see all the colors here. Product 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what we are missing is the product names, and I would also add some values to it. Let's get back to the main page again. We can copy the legend this time. This was our table here. You can select it and copy it. This is what we get here. Products can stay. We can add the sales to it. And also we can format it, going to specific columns. Sales dynamic. Display units in millions and 1 decimal value. It's a bit far away though, so we can go back to add the data visual, and this is just going to be S as in sales. It scales better than. And we can go back to the formatting, cell elements, select the cells, and add the font color. And this can be field value and the same color we had before, which was the dynamic legend text color. And I would also like to add the relative sales compared to the total. I already created 2 measures for it. One of them is simply, instead of the sales, calculating the percentage, sales percentage to the total. It's just basically the sales measure replaced with the product sales to total percentage measure. And I would like to put it into a different format with these parentheses. So this is going to be our final measure, which we put into the table. So let's add this one, move it above the products and rename it so the scaling is going to be better. And just to make more space, we can make everything a bit smaller. So I'm going to reduce the font size and also the padding a little bit. Going to grid, options, let's make just, so you see the 7. And then we can just go and select the bar chart again, pull it above the table and adjust it a little bit so it aligns well. I'm going to change the row padding. I want to reduce it. Let's put just 3. So they are more unified or more united. They look, it kind of gives the feeling that they belong together. And then we can just align it a bit. Okay, this looks very nice. And another thing I would want to add is the totals. We cannot add the totals to the table because it doesn't work well. If I turn it on and change the color, you can see that nothing is shown. This is because there is no selected value in the totals. So nothing will be returned by these 3 measures. So how I want to do it is to create a text box. move it a bit, and it's gonna be total. And I will add the value here, the sales measure. And this is a really cool way to add dynamic text or values to your text boxes. I'm gonna click save. And this is the sales measure we have. Then I hit 100% as the total amount of the percentages. Currently it shows the VTT value, and this is because the filter, the slicer is filtering this element. If you remember, we have this hidden slicer here. Temporarily pull it to the back, and I want to change the interaction so it doesn't filter this text box. I hide the slicer again, and now this returns the total value of the elements, and this is 100, but I still want to format it. The thing with this says M, that in the text box you don't have that many options to format it, so I cannot write here to format it as millions and stuff like this. So I created another measure for it. It's called sales M million, and it's automatically in millions. It really just looks like this. I just divided the sales by million and then gave a custom format to it. Click save. I'm gonna select the whole text and make it gray and everything a bit larger, like 10 pixels, 12 pixels, I mean. I also want to left align it, make it smaller. I remove the background and try to align it properly. In fact, I'm gonna make everything a bit smaller. And as a final touch, we can add the card, which shows as a title which month is hovered on. Going to insert the card, adjust it properly in the top middle, full width, and I'm just gonna add into the month name. Go to formatting, callout value, 20 pixel, and font style is Segway UI. Change the color to gray, disable the category label, go to general, effects, and hide the background. Let's see how it looks like. There will be one more issue, but let's see how it works for now. We have to add the tooltip here to the visual, select the visual, go to formatting, general, tooltips, select page tooltip. And as you can see, it's not really what we wanted. For once, everything is filtered, so only the specific product I am hovered on is shown. And second, that you can see still some parts of the labels there. So to change that, what we want is that only the month filters the values, but not the product. So go back to tooltip. Here you can disable this keep all filters and just drag the values in which you want to be the tooltip filtered by. In this case, this is month, short. And then I also quickly change the column header of the table. Column headers all look the same color, but it's still not the same color, just very similar. And also what we can do is format this number here. So going back to visual, formatting, cell elements, select the percentage, font color, field value, financials, measures, and select the dynamic legend color too. And we can also change the color of this products column. I'm gonna sample the background, select the table, cell elements, products, font color, and just change it a little bit. Another thing which could be cool is to have the totals on the top instead of the bottom, because as you see here, they are also on the top and the selected value is on the bottom. We can follow the same idea here. So I'm just gonna pull it up and move everything a little bit down. So this is how it works like. You can select the different elements. See that the values are different everywhere.